What's going on, Cleveland Browns fans? Another devastating loss as the Cleveland Browns fall to 0-6 at NRG Stadium to the Houston Texans. Not the game we envisioned, as Kevin Hogan did make his first start for the Cleveland Browns. Things started off relatively close after both teams' first couple of series, as the score was 3-3 after Zane Gonzalez hit a 41-yard field goal after missing both of his attempts last week at the Jets. Things did not go in the direction of the Browns as the tie went completely to the Texans after both teams' third series. Deshaun Watson led the team down the field with a 39-yard touchdown to Will Fuller on a blown coverage in cover 2 by Jabril Peppers. Then the Cleveland Browns came out. There was some very strong runs, some power zone, few stretch plays with Isaiah Crowell, who ran relatively decent when he did have the ball in his hands. But mistakes and penalties is really what killed the Browns this week, with the first interception of 3 by Kevin Hogan, a 82-yard pick 6 by Jonathan Joseph. The Cleveland Browns came back in on the field again, ran a couple plays, and unfortunately another mistake by Kevin Hogan with an interception down the right sideline with the pass towards Duke Johnson, picked off by linebacker Cole, who was eventually injured on the play. Things didn't really continue to go any better for the Browns offense or defensively wise in the first half, as multiple penalties, blocks in the back, holding penalties by our defense. Unfortunately, our secondary didn't really relatively play too well in this game, as Deshaun Watson just continued to move the offense down the field for the Texans. A 39-yard run by D'Onta Foreman did get the Texans down into 2 with a jet motion sweep to Braxton Miller, which they did use early in the game to get the defense off balance, and they did end up scoring. Jonathan Joseph did get his second interception, and Kevin Hogan did throw his third, which really just put the close of an abysmal half for the Cleveland Browns. The second half wasn't really much better, as the Browns were constantly getting in their own way with consistent 3-and-outs, other penalties like blocking the backs by Sammy Coates on a punt return by Jabril Peppers, negating them from the 50-yard line down to the 14. Other costly plays, and just players not really making the smart things, holding calls, things like that. But we weren't plagued by drop balls on offense, which was a nice thing to see. Casey Williams was a nice bright spot at the receiver position, making multiple catches with the quick rhythm style plays that Hue Jackson was calling before the game did get out of reach. Lastly, our defense, our front seven is playing very strong, as they made it really hard to tote the ball for the Texans running back. Lamar Miller and D'Onta Foreman were relatively bottled up most of the game, except for that one long run early in the first half. Jason McCourty, again, continued a great defensive effort, just being a positive outing for the Browns, and that few bright spots for our defense with his third interception of the season with a 56-yard pick 6, with the pressure being applied by Myles Garrett, who's been an astounding or wonderful addition for our defense, who just got Jamie Collins back, who started this game with coming off a concussion protocol. Myles Garrett having his third sack of the season, essentially in 6 quarters and limited play. It will be interesting to see how Hue Jackson handles next week's starting quarterback conundrum with Kevin Hogan and Deshone Kizer. Does this abysmal performance by Kevin Hogan change Hue Jackson's mind of who should be the starting quarterback? And if he does go with Deshone Kizer, is he just going to hand him the reins, or will it have to be a solid practice week for Deshone Kizer as the Browns head into week 7? The Browns do fall this week 17-33 by the Deshaun Watson-led Houston Texans, and hopefully we can see some changes as we go further into the season. We'll see you guys next week.